Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so alive inside you that it felt more real than your current circumstances? What if I told you that wasn't fantasy? That was a preview of a future that already exists, a potential future reality. Manifestation is not magic, despite what a lot of people say. It's not wishful thinking. It's not a vision board you tape to your fridge and hope for the best. Manifestation is alignment, the process of taking a thought from your imagination and making it real, bringing it into the 3D world. Every business, every relationship, every intention, every masterpiece, anything you can think of, it all began as a quiet spark in someone's mind. The same creative force that built the world is inside of you. And today I'm going to break down exactly how manifestation works, step by step, so you can understand it, trust it, and start using it intentionally. Welcome back to Built for Impact. I'm Jake Burhans, and this is the podcast where inner peace meets high performance, and where building your dream life starts from the inside out. Inside the show, we are always exploring different components of the Built framework, break limiting beliefs, upgrade your operating system, imagine your future, let go of the past, and transcend into your new self. And you're constantly doing this cycle, right? Starting by breaking limiting beliefs, starting at the 1.0 version of yourself, and constantly evolving into the 2.0 version of yourself. Today, we are going to get into probably the most misunderstood part of personal transformation, manifestation. Oh, it's such a hot topic. I like to use the word reality creation because I think it roots it in a little bit more science, and there is a lot of science backing it. Quantum physics, a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work goes into this, among other people, in neuroscience, and Bruce Lipton, biology of belief. Deepak Chopra has a lot of stuff. But yeah, a lot of studies on manifestation and how it is really more science than magic or superstition. But I'm talking about manifestation or reality creation as a natural process of aligning your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions with the reality that you want to create. So I want to break this down like really simple. I had this kind of download the other day about how this process worked, and I wanted to get it out to you, kind of very brief version so you understand that. So the first part of reality creation is having a vision. I'm sure you've had a vision about something you want to do or something you want to become. And that's the first step of it all. We've talked about this before. Everything that's ever been brought into this world, whether it's a train or a car or a plane or a guitar or a chair or a TV or a phone, started as a vision or an idea in someone's mind. And we know this from the observer effect. The observer effect states that as soon as you place your awareness on a potential future outcome or future thing, like the TV, for example, someone had that in their awareness. If you focus on it long enough, it begins to collapse into form, into reality, into the 3D world. So that's anything has ever been brought into this world started as a vision. So I want you to focus on, hey, what is a vision that I have that I want to bring into reality, and holding your awareness on it. That's why people talk about writing down these goal cards and writing it on a goal card, because you want to keep it in your mind all day long. When you forget about it, remind yourself of it. Keep the goal card in your pocket. So it starts as a vision. The second thing is you have to tap into the emotion of already having it. Neville Goddard talks about being in the desired end state, right? Whatever the vision is, you want to have this or you want to become something. What does it feel like to be that person? Because that's how you operate at the quantum level. When you tap into that frequency, you basically tap into that timeline of events. So just like a radio station, we are energy, right? And our frequency is broadcasting under certain radio stations. So if we're in a lower level frequency, that comes with its own thoughts, emotions, behaviors, actions, and results. But if we raise our frequency, right, it's going to come with different thoughts, emotions, behaviors, actions, and results. So you want to get into the feeling of what it feels like to have whatever you want, which I'm sure is an elevated emotion. And once you get into that feeling, you're literally tapping into that radio station. You're going to get new thoughts. You're going to make you feel new emotions, new elevated emotions of appreciation, gratitude, excitement, joy. You're going to have new behaviors, take new actions, and ultimately get new results. So the trick here, if you want to get there as quickly as possible, is you start with your vision, you tap into the emotion of what it's like to already have that vision complete, right? And then as soon as you feel into that and then you start believing, the third step here is believing. As soon as you believe that it's possible, that's what activates the subconscious mind and the field around you. So synchronicities will start happening, right? Which are things that put you on the path towards your goal that happen in a way so unexpected you could have never thought it would happen that way, but leaves you with no doubt that what you are doing internally is affecting your external world. So you have a vision. Start with the vision. You tap into the feeling of already having that vision. You believe it's true. Right? And then I think the next part is huge, is taking action to get to your goal. So you have to take aligned action. So you move when you feel inspired, right? Not motivated, but you move when you feel inspired, when it feels right. But just like a self-guided missile, I talk about this a lot, just like a self-guided missile reaches its destination through negative feedback, you reach your goal through the same way. So a self-guided missile basically is shot, right? And on its way to its target, it's going to get too far off to the right. It's going to get an indicator, oh, you're too far off to the right. And then it's going to go back to the left. And then it's going to go too far to the left. It's going to get an indicator, oh, you're too far off to the left. And then it's going to go back to the right. And it literally zigzags its way all the way to its destination. And that's exactly how you're reaching your goals. People get this completely mixed up. They hit the first failure point and they take that as, oh, I can't do something. No, that's just telling you you're too far off track. You have to correct and keep going. You got to fail forward. It's better to fail forward than stay on the spot your whole life. You can't let fear run your life. So once you have the vision, you tap into the feeling of what it's like and you believe it's true, you start to notice synchronicities, but then you got to take action. You have to take action. And each time that you fail, you just figure out a way in which it did not work. And you have to understand that's part of success. That's part of the process. So many people get tripped up here because they think, oh, I can't do it because it didn't work. No. It's just a feedback point. You got to keep going. Furthermore, to that point, there's always a gestation period between when it's in your mind and when it comes into physical reality. Okay? Because think about it, you got to take action. You have to do the things to bring it into the world. Now, this doesn't mean that you're struggling and you're forcing, right? But manifestation isn't this woo-woo thing. It's very practical. It's you have a vision in your mind. You tap into the emotion of already having it, so that you can work at the quantum level and benefit from the synchronicities of the phone call that gives you the opportunity at the right time and things just lining up beyond what you can explain, right? You take action, you fail, but you keep going because you understand those are just feedback points on the path to your destination. You trust the delay. You understand, hey, there's a gestation period between the time that it's in my mind and the time that I get it. And it's going to come in perfect timing. It's not going to come in the timing that I want. Oh, I want this in 3 months. Nope, that's not how the universe works. It gives it to you exactly when you're meant to have it, okay? It gives it to you exactly when you're meant to have it. Because if you want this big goal of, I want to be this world-class speaker, or I want to be, a world-class doctor, or whatever the case may be, or I want to build this big behavioral center, there might be lessons you need to learn. Maybe you're not the type of person that can handle that yet. And you're like, I'm going to get it in 6 months. That's the mind trying to figure out when you're going to get it. But if you truly want to get that and you follow this process, the universe will give it to you, but it'll give it to you at exactly the perfect time, exactly when you're ready. And you don't know when you'll be ready, right? So you'll have challenges and setbacks and successes and all these things, but they'll all be perfect in getting you to where you need to go. But you got to hold that vision in your head. That's what's important to have, like a goal card, or remind yourself every day of what you're actually doing, because this stuff takes time. You can't lose faith. And then you have to surrender the how. That's number 6. Surrender the how. What does it mean? You want to get to your destination or your goal, whatever it is, linearly. That's how your mind wants to work. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. That's how you get to your goal. The universe goes, we're going to get to your goal, but we're going to go A, B, F, Q, R, L, M, N, X, Z. Then we'll get you there. It operates in a fashion that is completely illogical to the mind, but is absolutely perfect in regard to delivering what you want. So if you can surrender the how and understand that the setbacks and the challenges and the difficulties, they're all part of the plan. They're not good or bad. Our mind just makes them that way because we believe we need to get to our goal in a certain fashion, right? So when something doesn't align with how we believe it should be going, we think that that's bad. But in reality, everything is perfect because the setbacks and the challenges, they're morphing you or teaching you lessons that you need to have in order to be able to hold the reality that you want. Because if I want to be this world-class speaker, but I haven't learned the lessons of, being embarrassed in front of people and being able to recover when I am embarrassed, I need to have those lessons in the beginning, which may seem like failures, but those are just strengthening me into the person I need to become a world-class speaker. So you got to let the universe deliver the how, And it's really about doing the work, having fun doing the work, and releasing all attachment to the outcome and when it arrives. You don't care when it arrives. You just do the work that's putting you on the path. You love doing the work. You have fun doing it, and it'll come whenever it comes because you don't have control over when it comes, really, right? It's going to come in perfect timing. And that is the overall process of manifestation. So just to recap, you have a vision in your mind, something you want to have, something you want to become. You tap into the feeling of already having it. Okay, what does it feel like to already have that? That's your frequency for the day that you want to live in. And if you live in that frequency, you eventually just become that person. Then you got to believe that it's actually possible, right? So you have this vision, you feel what it would feel like, and then you got to actually truly believe, like, oh my gosh, this could actually happen. I could actually do this. And then you got to actually take action. You can't just be in your head all day. You got to take action. And when you're failing and things don't work out, you realize that's just on the path to success, and eventually you'll hit it and you'll get it. You got to trust the delay. You got to understand there's a period, a gestation period from the time that it's in your head to the time that it comes into physical reality, right? The universe is perfect. The universe is never late. You're just impatient. And then you got to surrender the how. You want to get there in a linear fashion, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. The universe wants to zigzag all up and down and back and forth and to and fro and in and out, ups and downs, successes and failures, but all those things are perfect in getting you to where you want to go. And if you can understand those things, you can bring anything you want into reality. But you got to have a little bit of persistence. You got to have a definite aim. You got to have a purpose. You got to have a vision. You got to follow that. You got to be persistent. You got to want it more than anything. You got to be obsessed. And you can bring anything you want into this world. So in closing here, was looking to unpack that whole process, make it more practical than woo-woo, right? From imagination to emotion, belief to action, trust to surrender, right? If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who needs this message. If you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it. If you haven't left a review, I'd also appreciate that. And yeah, next week we'll be diving deeper into the mechanics of building a life from the inside out. All the peace, all the power.